Take care of yourself.
All right, welcome everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our Saturday evening live mindset training. My name is Brandon Ivey. I am a global with Shopping Sherlock, and this is a training that is open for everybody. It doesn't matter what company you're a part of. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, because this is knowledge that will benefit you no matter what you do. And this is information that I use and I took that has helped me to get to where I am right now. And I've had a lot of success in a home-based buyer and walk off my job at the age of 36 years old. I've been able to have a full-time income and work from home and see my children. I see Vince says I look like Tyler Perry, right? Never heard that one before. I want to make sure you guys can hear me. So if you guys can hear me clearly, type Y in the chat box. If you can hear me, type Y in the chat box. Some of you, I see like Cassandra and Ann. Cassandra might have called in, but I want to make sure everybody can hear me. Cassandra's on the phone. Great. Then you must call in or click on the phone icon above the chat box. I want to make sure before I really get started, everybody can hear me. Cassandra, what number did you call in? Did you call in the 712 number? All right, 712 number. All right, good deal. Everybody else should be able to hear me clearly. I don't want anybody to get left behind. See, Ann came on for a second and then just dropped. So it's just Ann. I see we have a Tracy that's on as well. We type this in the chat box again. If you cannot hear me talking, call into 712. Or click on the phone icon above the chat box. All right, fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I mean, that was a very powerful video by Tyler Perry, and one thing that I do relate with him is you got to have a dream and a goal and a passion. And I don't think all of our passion is to graduate from school, work a job for the rest of our life, and hope that that's going to make us successful and be happy in the future. I did that. I did everything that I was taught to do. I graduated from Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. I had a nice career going, but due to no fault of my own, I was laid off from my job. How many of you have ever been laid off from your job before? Type me in the chat box. It's okay. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Sometimes we don't have any control over that. And if you haven't been laid off, I'm sure you know somebody who has. And chances are you're working more time and more hours than everybody else if you haven't been laid off. Isn't that those lucky few? Those of you who haven't? If you're lucky, you're going to be working the same job for 40 years of your life, knowing that you're going to retire broke, depending on family, government, and friends by the age of 65. 97%. We have 10,000 baby boomers retiring a day, a trend that's going to continue for the next 10 years. People that spend all their money to go through college only to graduate already in debt. Looking at a job market for a job that no longer exists because the economy is changing so rapidly. So what are our choices? Our choices are start our own home-based business. And even when you do so because you have a reason, you have a desire, you have a passion about something. But that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Things don't happen overnight. Are you going to quit and give up when things don't happen as fast as you want it to? That's what Tyler Perry was talking about. He's worth what? $200-300 million today? But he went 8 years. 8 years of failure. 8 years of spinning his wheels in the sand. 8 years of nothing happening. People telling him to quit. People telling him he needs to do something else. People telling him he needs to stop spending his money on that. He worked a job to build his dream, not for the security of the job. He didn't give up. He didn't quit. And that's why he is where he is today. A lot of you may be in that same type of situation right now, no matter what it is you're doing. Things just may not be happening fast enough. So how do we get past that? How do we keep moving forward? That's what tonight's training is about. Every Saturday night we do mindset training with a different topic. This is a two-parter. This first topic is becoming a pro. And next week we're going to be talking about the real mindset training, how to keep the engine moving forward. But we start off with attitude. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Attitude is a little thing that makes a huge difference. It makes all the difference in the world. If your attitude isn't right, it's going to give you a different result, right? See, it's not what happens to you in life, it's how you respond to what happens to you in life. Life happens to all of us. It's the same 24 hours in a day. Same 7 days in a week. 31 days in a month, 12 months in a year. Time flies and moves at the same pace as everybody else. Yet some people reach one destination while others reach a different. You can have people go through the same exact experience, but depending on one's attitude towards that experience makes a difference. You hold up a glass of water that has a little bit of water in it. Is the glass half empty or half full? That depends on the person. Once you have your attitude right, everything else falls into place. But we're going to talk over that more in depth next week, next Saturday. Let's talk about the new economy. Where's the economy at now? Why do we call it a new economy? Our education system hasn't changed in over 100 years. We are still educating kids today as we did in 1900. Do you think jobs are the same as then? Do you think the economy is the same? Do you think even values are the same? Absolutely not. But the education hasn't changed. We are educating children for a world that no longer exists and expect them to survive in the world of today. Knowing that this is the case, we need to educate ourselves on the new economy. I say it all the time as far as commerce goes. Back at the beginning of time, what was the economy? If you had a city and you built it next to a river, you were going to survive better than a city that was built in the middle of the desert. Why? Because a river allowed you to have more access to commerce, goods and trades and transportation. But as times changed, technology advanced. You just look at the United States of America, for example, and if you guys haven't done so, I would encourage you to write this down. If you have access to Amazon Prime live streaming, look up the men who built America. I'll type this here. The men who built America before regulation. This is around the time period of the Civil War to around the Great Depression. That time period there. Cornelius Vanderbilt. You know how he got his name, the Commodore? Well, he owned the most ships. And all trade was through his ships. Down rivers, down the Atlantic, across South America, up to the west coast of the Pacific. Technology changed. Railroad technology came into place. He sold his entire fleet and purchased interest in the railroads. connected the east and west coast. Why? Because now commerce was moving over the rail system. The next bright industry where the economy changed again was, wow, whoever can put goods and services on the railroad was going to make the most money. That's when Rockefeller came into place with his oil. Put all his oil on Vanderbilt railroads. Things changed again. You know what built the cities of America? Steel. Primarily produced by Andrew Carnegie. Blew up the United States of America as far as the biggest cities in the world. Cities rising into the clouds. Banking came along. J.P. Morgan, electricity. It's good to know your history. Know where the wealthy people of the past, how they got to where they are. They followed certain laws that still hold true today. But they took advantage of the turning of, not just the century, but the change and turn of the economy. And the 20th century now brings us new opportunities. The rise of the internet. The rise of e-commerce. The rise of technology, social media. It's a new frontier today. And the whole world is connected. Are you prepared for this world? See, if you're a part of a business that is prepared and positioned to take advantage of this new trend, then that means you need to become a professional. You need to learn things. I'm going ahead of myself here. Let me actually follow the slides here. See, the world as you know it has changed. For the people who don't recognize that fact, it will be the worst of times. For those of you who do, it will be the best of times. The best of times. I picture it like this. Money is just energy. That dollar you have, that 100 you have in your hand, the paper is worthless. It's energy. It allows you to have resources to do things. If you have more money, you have more resources. And we all are fishing out of the same source, the same river. The wealthy people are in the middle of the river with their yachts, casting out fishing nets bigger than everybody else, which is why they're able to capture the most money. The rest of us are sitting on the shores, on the bank, fishing with our little fishing pole. But what happens when the river moves and changes direction? Which it does over time. The river moves. Money never disappears. It just moves. The wealthy people pull up anchor and they move with the river. That's why Donald Trump and all the wealthy will say, in a good economy, they make money. In a bad economy, they make even more money. Because when the river changes, they change with the river. They move with the river. The rest of us are still sitting on the riverbank trying to fish out of a dried up river. And we go to the politicians, we go to the government, and we want them to bring the river back. It's never coming back. You must adapt. You must move with the river, just like the wealthy people do. That's why the wealthy people make more money, and we have a decreasing middle class. Over the last 100 years, an interesting phenomenon has occurred. The rise of the corporation became the standard in society. The safe and respected place for people to exist in the worst place was as an employee. Here's how it follows. Step 1, go to school, learn how to become an employee. Step 2, find a company that will employ you. Step 3, work for that company for 40 years. And step 4, retire. That's the model. And that actually did work for half a generation. We call this the greatest generation in American history. Was the baby boomers. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not the baby boomers. The World War II generation. The baby boomers are their children. In recent decades, the promise of being rewarded by the company for your loyalty and hard work has been exposed as a myth. People began to realize that the loyalty they were giving to their company was not being given in return. And for those of you who want to know where am I getting this information from, it's from a book written by Eric Worre called Go Pro. Any information that I share is not my opinion. I'm going to make that clear. It's not my opinion. I'm only sharing information I was taught from books and other mentors, and I might say it in my own words. But this is not information that I've made up. Here's how this flowed. Step 1, go to school to learn how to be an employee. Step 2, find a company that will employ you. Step 3, switch companies for various political and economic reasons every 3 to 5 years over the course of your career. That style seems like we're more used to now, right? Every 5 years we're switching companies. Step 4, find that company that you find out that you can't retire comfortably after 40 years, so you keep on working. Well, you see the Walmart greeters, right? You know what the federal government's even their campaign now is? They want to increase retirement age from 65 to 70. And they say that's because the Americans are living longer than before. The real reason why is because the government cannot support an increasing retirement base that has to rely on Social Security. That's not going to be there. There's no more 401k. That got thrown off in, 2007, 2008? Everyone's 401k got wiped out. Social Security, $800 a month. Can't live on that. So their solution, keep on working. And then I even saw this commercial. I thought it was hilarious. The commercial said that you should keep working because the government cares about your well-being. And they said statistics show that most people pass away 2 years after retirement because they're bored. That if you want to extend your life, go on and keep on working. What? That was a government campaign. They really care for you. They want you to live longer, so keep on working. But as sad as that is, that's the reality. See, the best way not only to survive, but to thrive in the new economy is network marketing. More and more companies will choose to use network marketing because it fits the new economy. It's extremely efficient because in the new economy, word-of-mouth advertising continues to work better than any other form of promotion. It's also cheaper. What that means to you is that you can receive all of the benefits of traditional business ownership without the typical risks. And there will be no cap on your earning income because network marketing companies want you to make as much money as possible. The new economy is going to pay you for your performance, not your time. Are you ready? That last sentence is the most important of everything that I've said so far. The new economy is going to pay you for your performance, not your time. See, when you get a job and you think you have job security and you're getting paid that salary, you're getting paid no matter what you do. Look at the government workers. You're not incentivized to work harder because your income is not going to grow by working harder. That's not what's going to happen. You're going to get paid about the same amount. How many people become CEO of a company? No matter how hard you work. So you just do the bare minimum. In fact, here's an old saying. People work just as hard, just enough so that they don't get fired, and companies will pay you just enough so that you don't quit. Right? That is how the system works. That's the rat race. But what if you actually got paid more for your performance? Here's what companies are going to start to do. They're not going to hire employees. They're going to start hiring independent contractors. And your contract is going to be based on you get paid for your performance, not because you just showed up to your cubicle and sat there all day. That's the new economy. And that's not just network marketing. That's traditional business is going to start moving that way. Because with the increase of people looking for a job, the market is highly competitive. So they want to hire the person who can produce the most. And say, hey, why are we going to pay for somebody's health care. Well, we'll just pay you based on your performance. You pay for your own health care. That is the new economy. Based on your performance, not your time. Do you want to know how you get wealthy in America? You have to think about it. Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. The people who produce more than others in that same 24-hour period. So you want to make sure that you are in an industry and a business that's going to pay you for your performance. And now that puts pressure on you to actually perform. And that's what a lot of people actually get scared about. What if I don't perform? What happens? You don't eat. It's like the law of the jungle. That's how it works. So we're going to talk about tonight, on how to become a professional and why you want to become a professional. If you treat your business like a hobby, you will get paid like a hobby. You must accept temporary loss of social esteem from ignorant people. Go over that in a minute, what that means. Most people have either joined a network marketing company or know someone who has. They approach it as if they are playing the lottery and hoping to get lucky and sign up that one superstar that will make them rich. When it doesn't happen, they quit. They treated this as a hobby. Let me stop right there, and I want to qualify this. See that sentence before, you must accept temporary loss of social esteem? Not everybody's in a network marketing company. And what they've heard about it, they think pyramid scheme or scam or whatever. You doing what? You selling what, Brandon? What you doing today? I'm going to tell everybody to, not answer the phone when you call, because you're going to try to get them in one of those things. See, this is where a challenge with most people happens when they quit. Oh, I don't want to be seen as not being cool. I don't want to be laughed at for doing something that people don't understand. See, this is where you have to understand. You buy somebody's opinion, you buy their lifestyle. I only listen to people who's making the type of money I want to make in the industry that I want to be in. I'm not going to listen to broke cousin Pookie down the street making fun of me for joining a network marketing company. But you have to also understand that the people who have joined the company and have failed had the wrong mindset going in. They approach it like they played the lottery. Oh, I paid my money, I'm going to get rich. Right? And when they don't get rich, they say it doesn't work. Did the lottery work for you? How many of you have ever won the lottery? You have a better chance of getting struck by lightning 7 times and bitten on the butt by a shark than win the lottery. Yet when the lottery hits 200 million, everybody's going to buy a lotto ticket. And they start dreaming again. And they approach network marketing like that. Oh, if I don't sign up that one superstar that's going to make me rich, I'm going to quit. You treated it like a hobby, not a professional. A professional learns skills necessary to become successful in any given field. And the same goes for network marketing. Once you learn skills, then there is no luck involved. Your performance will greatly improve, which will in turn greatly improve how much you make. Become a professional. That's self-explanatory. There's 3 types of networkers: posers, amateurs, and professionals. Let's go over these. Let's talk about the posers. Posers treat this profession as a lottery ticket. They're hoping to hit it big with as little effort as possible. It's a poser. A poser's like this. They just happen to be on Facebook late one night. They're already stressing their lives because they've got to notice that their car is going to get repossessed. Or they don't have enough money to pay for their rent at the end of the month. They don't know how they're going to buy food. They're sweating. They're stressed. They see somebody post on Facebook about a business that's going to allow them to walk off their job and make riches overnight. Cost of it may be $99, $200, $500. It doesn't matter. They see pictures of somebody flashing cash, flashing money, showing houses, showing cars. They say, hey, that could be me. I'll pay the $500. I'll pay the $99. And they think just because they paid that money that now they're going to live the same type of lifestyle as the pictures they see on the advertisement. Realize that they didn't have to do nothing to make this kind of money. Wrong mindset. That's a poser. Some posers actually do get lucky and get that big break and make quick money, but it never lasts. And they never learn skills on what to do if they lose it. I see this in this industry time and time again. I see people in companies that in a short period of time they're making $5,000, $10,000, $50,000 a month. They've only been in the business for a couple of months. But the law of the universe always evens things out. Have you ever noticed, and this is a fact, that 70% of the people who win the lottery go broke after 10 years? Most people who play in the NBA are broke after 3 years in the NFL. You want to know why? Here's why. They never learn the skills necessary to earn that type of income. And once they've got it, they definitely don't have the skills necessary to keep that income. And so throwing money on them, because again, it is not the money, it is the fact you have access to more resources. And resources just promulgate. Whoever you are right now in a faster way. So if you're a loser right now and you give a loser a whole lot of money, they just highlight how much of a loser they really are. I don't say that in a condescending way. It's just where you are right now. And you can always change where you are. So if you are a poser right now, you can change from being a poser to becoming more. But if you keep the poser mindset with a whole lot of resources, you're just going to spin your wheels much faster than before. And what's funny thing about lottery winners too, they always say, I wish I never won the money. What? What do you mean you wish you never won? You won $240 million. Antoine Walker had $150 million and is broke. Allen Iverson, broke. Time and time and time and time again. And they wish they never won the money. You ever figure that one out? They never learned the skills in the first place to appreciate it. See, once you have the skills, it doesn't matter if you lose the money, you have the skills necessary to make it again. Donald Trump became a billionaire, went bankrupt, became a billionaire again. Why? Because he had the skills necessary to do so. You can take all the money from him, he will still become successful. This is what posers don't actually understand. So don't believe the hype. You see some people, and it hurts me actually when I see this. For the first time ever they make money, they got lucky that one time, but it always evens itself out. They lose the money, and I feel sad for them after that. They don't know what to do after that. They never learn the skills. What do I do now? Closers last 30 to 60 days at most in network marketing before they quit. And then they blame either the company, compensation plan, upline, or downline for their failure. They point the finger everywhere else except themselves. It's always somebody else's fault. The company didn't have all the tools necessary for me to become successful. The website wasn't right. Or my downline didn't do things, so I failed. My upline didn't provide the support, so I failed. Here's one thing I'll tell you about myself. I've been in this industry for 15 years. 10 years I failed. 10 years I didn't have any major financial success. But I was learning during those 10 years. And I had my aha moment 5 years ago. I'll get more into that next week on that mindset training. But I learned the skills necessary. And because I learned those skills, it doesn't matter what company you put me in, I will be successful in it. I don't care if it's the worst company on the planet. You have to always understand, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about the company. People don't join companies, they join people. You can show me the best company in the world, I'll show you most of the people in it that's broke. You can show me the worst company in the world, and I'll show you somebody in it that's making 6 figures. Why? The people who treat their business as a professional, no matter what company you're in, is going to be successful. The people that treat the business as posers, no matter what company you're in, you're going to be broke and you're going to quit. Posers blame everybody else except looking in the mirror. Posers also would rather join another company, than is promising an easier or faster way to riches. So instead of working harder and learning skills, they jump ship. See, this is what you will have this happen in your downline. I guarantee this will happen. You'll have somebody that will join your team in your business. They're excited for the first 30 to 60 days. But especially if they're in the United States, they have access to Facebook and the internet and Twitter. And they see another company and somebody else posts about, oh wow, look how much money you can make in this company over the next 60 days. And they jump ship, and I ask them, why did you leave? Oh wow, did you see their website? Did you see that video? It was hot. Did you see that one guy flashing all that money? Not knowing it was his rent money he was showing. But you see him flash all that money? Now they're making money over there. I gotta go over there. You always think the grass is greener somewhere else. And that first video, Tyler Perry said, you know, when you plant a seed, you gotta water the seed. If you plant seeds all over the place, you don't have enough water to water all of the seeds. And none of them end up growing. So instead of learning skills on how to build your own business, you want to jump ship to somewhere else where you think it's going to be easier. Not understanding you got to do the same thing over there that you had to do over here. There is no easy path in life. And the struggles that you go through are designed to make you stronger if you keep moving forward. There's no easy path. Let's talk about amateurs now. This is the step up from a poser. Amateurs. Amateurs focus on getting lucky. They hear of stories of people who had their entire lives changed with that one sign up. They spend all their time focusing on that one big hit. This is a trap. This is a trap that people fall into. Man, if I just get that one superstar on my team, game over. Right? And that does happen sometimes. Sometimes somebody gets lucky. And all of a sudden you have somebody on your team 4 or 5 levels down that don't even know you. And they explode in the business. And you think that, oh man, I'm in it now. I'm going to retire now. I'm going to make a whole lot of money now. And you do make some money on the short term. But you know what may end up happening? That one superstar gets a signed deal with another company, leaves and takes his entire downline with them. What do you do next? Do you have the skills necessary to keep your business going, or are you going to wait to get lucky to sign up another superstar? I'm going to tell you now. The number one person you will always or ever have on your team, the number one hand is the one at the end of your own wrist. It doesn't matter if every single person were to quit my organization. I will still become a millionaire. I do not approach the business based on what superstar you're going to sign up on your team. But that's what amateurs do. The second thing amateurs focus on is timing. Did I get in early enough? How many other leaders are in my market? Did I miss the growth curve? Is the market saturated? Those are very legitimate questions to ask, but not to focus on. And those questions are important. Timing is everything sometimes. How would you have liked to got involved with Facebook at the beginning? Walmart at the beginning? Apple at the beginning? WhatsApp at the beginning? You know the story of WhatsApp, right? The owners of WhatsApp went to Facebook looking for a job 4 years ago and got turned down. They went to Twitter and got turned down. Started their own company. This is just 4 years ago. 4 years later, 55 employees of the company. Facebook buys them out for $19 billion. $4 billion liquid. 55 employees became multimillionaires overnight. What about Alibaba? You guys heard of Alibaba? If not, you will. Chinese-based firm. E-commerce. Alibaba. Positioned to have the biggest IPO on the e-commerce company ever. It's going to be bigger than Facebook. They're talking about over $120 billion worth overnight. $40 billion going right back to the company. They're already having classes for their employees on how to handle the money. How to handle becoming rich overnight. What if you got involved with Alibaba 10 years ago? You know Alibaba owns Yahoo. Timing is important. Getting in early enough is important. But it's not everything. The number one money earner in the world from Amway joined Amway 5 years after it got started. Holton Buggs, top money earner in Organo Gold. There was 5,000 people in the company before he joined Organo Gold. I use myself for an example. The last company I was in, I was regional vice president. I was at the top of the company. Guess what? The company had been around for 1.5 years before I joined. 1.5 years. So timing is important, but it is not everything. At the end of the day, it's what you do. What you bring to the market. People still making millions in Amway getting started just a couple of years ago. It's been around for 50 years. The market will never, ever get saturated. 6 billion people on the planet. Hundreds of thousands of people who join a home-based business every single day. It will never get saturated. You just need to start talking to people you don't know. Different people, different market. Get off Facebook. You're talking to the same 2,000 friends. It'll never get saturated. But that's what amateurs focus on. The third thing amateurs focus on is positioning. Am I in the right organization? Are others better positioned than me? Do I have a good upline? Will I do better in another team? Again, their focus is someplace else. It's all on, is the system prepared for me? The reason why I have the success that I have had is because I build and create the system. I don't care what the company is doing. I don't care what other leaders are doing. I will make the system. I'll give you another example. My upline in my own career, this may not be for everybody else, but for me personally, my upline has always gotten in the way. They have always been a hindrance of my performance. I do much better when the upline is out of the way. I don't need to be a part of another team. We will create the team that we need to have. You are the CEO of your business from you down. But amateurs are always looking at, am I part of the right organization? Create the right organization. But again, that's just the amateurs, not a professional. And the fourth thing that amateurs focus on is shortcuts. The internet tools can do all the work for me. Every time a new shiny approach to business is advertised, amateurs are all over it and easily distracted. Now, don't get me wrong. Tools on the internet are useful to help you to build your business. The trap is to have an affiliate component next to it. That you can make money using this tool. The trap in that is, people then decide, wow, I'm making money using this tool. I'm just going to build this tool and not even market my own business. They forget why they're in it in the first place. I have seen this trap over and over again. And every 6 months, there's a new tool that pops up. You're not focused on what you need to be focused on anymore. You're focused on building the tool company. That's a trap. But that's what amateurs focus on. Let's talk about professionals. Being a professional. A professional is a person who is an expert at the skills required to build a large and successful network marketing organization. A professional starts focusing on the skills and made a commitment to practice until the skill is mastered. A professional does not focus on luck, timing, positioning, or shortcuts. Professional athletes will devote endless hours to preparing for competition. But when they join network marketing, they won't give 1 day's worth of effort to learning our skills. Doctors will devote a decade of their lives at huge financial expense to become physicians. But when they join network marketing, they won't give a month's study and practice to become a network marketing pro. Now I want to spend a little time on this. Where you are today is a sum result of every decision you've made in your life, including your bank account. If you're not happy with where you are today, that's because of the decisions that you've made. If you want more out of life, it's time for you to make new decisions. New efforts. Of course, not always then. Let me state that one more time. Where you are today is the sum result of all decisions that you've made in your life up to this point, and maybe even your environment that you're surrounded in. But here's the key point. You can change your circumstances no matter how it is you got to where you are today. You can change your circumstances, which is what Tyler Perry said, and every single multimillionaire and successful person will tell you. I use my father as an example. My father grew up and was born in Compton, California, in the 50s and the 60s, during the Watts riots. He was living in, and my mom was also grew up in Compton, California. They'll say, you know, my dad lived in the bad part of Compton. I didn't know there was a good and bad part, but the worst part of Compton. My dad grew up poor. Let me change that. My dad grew up broke, not poor, because my grandfather was not poor. My grandfather had a college degree. My grandfather was in the military. My grandfather provided as best he could for his family and was able to put his son, my father, into college. But they didn't have much growing up. But my dad made the decision that I'm not going to let my environment or circumstances dictate what the rest of my life is going to be. So my dad went to school. My dad graduated from college. My dad went to business school. My dad got a job at a company called Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. If you've been in California, you take the 101 downtown. Is the big building connected to Union Station. The very top of the building is wrapped around in windows. Is my dad's office. My dad started off there as washing cars, company cars, and driving corporate execs around town when they had a hiring policy of not hiring minorities. That was the only job minorities could get at that time. He decided that he was not going to let his circumstances stop him. He's been working for the... Or... What was this tip? Hold on one second. Let me pause this. Oh yeah, the philosophy of performance. That's what I'm going to play. The philosophy of performance, because that's going over, what we're talking about tonight. So the video is loading, so I'm not even playing it yet. So don't say, my screen is frozen. But I want to end this night with this note, with two things for you guys. Before you go to sleep tonight, I want you to ask yourself this question. What would you do if money was no longer an issue in your life? You had all the money in the world. What would you do? And this is after, okay? I want to qualify this. This is after. You already went on your shopping spree. You already bought all the houses you want. You already bought all the cars you want. You already traveled around the world. You bought your mama a house. You paid for your kids for college. You paid off all your debt. 1 year later, you wake up on a Monday morning and you realize you don't have to get up and go to work. You don't have to go to a job you don't like, to work with people you can't stand, to eat lunch at 12 or you're hungry at 11, to ask permission to go to the bathroom. You don't have to do any of that anymore. And you have more money in the bank account than before you went to sleep. What would you do with your life? What did God put you on this planet to do? What is your focus? What is your passion? What is your desire? What would you do if you didn't have to make money to do it? What would you do? I want you to focus on that before you go to sleep tonight. And then think about it again when you wake up. The reason why is because when you go to sleep, you're consciously asleep, but your subconscious is not asleep. It is still wide awake. You're programming your brain. Your brain is going to start thinking of these things because your brain does not know what's real and what's not real. Your brain doesn't know this. Your brain only knows what you tell it to know. You know what, John? I will talk about that too, getting to in a second, okay? And it was recorded, and I'll try to find that video. I'll find that video while this one's playing. But I will talk about that in 1 second here. But that's what you focus on. What would you do with your life? See, most people don't dream anymore. We're stuck in reality. The only time adults dream is when the lottery gets so high that you start thinking about, man, what would I do if I won that lottery? What would I buy? What would I do with my life? Start focusing on that again. Your brain is like a vibration. It's a magnet. You start attracting to you what you put out. Most people is focused on, how am I going to pay my bills this month? How am I going to stop the repossession? You're focused on negativity. Your brain is emitting negativity. Start dreaming again. And all of a sudden, opportunities start popping up in your life that you didn't know were there before, to make your dream a reality. And people think, wow, picture it like this. Have you ever bought a car, and as you're driving down the street, all of a sudden you see a whole lot of people have the same car as you? Where'd that come from? The cars were already there. You just didn't see them. So the Bible says, have eyes that can see. See, that's what I want you to leave with there. Here's another thing, okay? Why this is important. And this is for you women, really can relate to this. Have you ever met a woman who has always been in a bad relationship? Always. No matter what man she has, it's always a bad relationship. Right? And finally your friend said, you know what, maybe you need to go see a therapist or something. Maybe it's you. So she goes to a therapist and tells the therapist, you know, I'm always in a bad relationship, I need help. And the therapist says, let me ask you a question. What is it that you want in a man? And she says, oh, that's easy. I don't want a man who treats me badly. I don't want a man who disrespects me. I don't want a man who doesn't have a job. I don't want a man who, if he does have a job, he goes straight to the bar after work or to the strip club and he gets drunk. He wants to spend more time with his buddies than with me. I don't want a man who disrespects me in front of my children. I don't want a man who's verbally and physically abusive of me. I don't want a man who says I'm worthless. Interesting. That sounds legitimate, right? That sounds correct. And then the therapist says, how does that make you feel? It makes me feel horrible. It makes me feel bad. She says, interesting. But you never answered the question. What? Yes, I did. No, you didn't. I said, and I asked you, what do you want in a man? And you answered me by what you don't want in a man. See, the universe does not understand positive or negative in your affirmations. It only understands how you feel and what you're thinking about. And if you're thinking about what you don't want and it's making you feel bad, that's all you're going to continue to attract to you. The same thing over and over and over again. And even if you do get lucky and attract the type of guy that will treat you right, you're emitting the bad vibration and you push that person away. You ever seen that before? A woman who drove a good man away? Let's flip the script. Instead of talking about what you don't want in a man, you want a man who treats you good. You want a man with a job. You want a man who makes you feel good. You want a man who wants to spend time with you. You want a man who helps you and treats you to feel like a queen, who respects you, who loves you, who cherishes you. Now, how does that make you feel? Oh, I feel great. I feel positive. That's what you need to be focusing on. And that's the type of man you're going to attract to you. Same with your business. You're going to attract to people who you are. Look into yourself in the mirror. Are you the type of person that you will want to sign up with? And be honest with yourself. If you lie to yourself, you're really in a bad shape. Or are you the type of person that you'd want to work with, you'd want to sign up under? Why would a millionaire earner want to sign up with you? Birds of a feather flock together. Successful people hang out with successful people. Unsuccessful people hang out with other unsuccessful people. This was extra going over with tonight. You wonder why? You know how the success that I have happened from me just sitting at home and people calling me. I don't have to do extra because I work hard on myself to become the superstar that others want to work with. And when you get into that position, it doesn't matter if people on your team quit. I have had people quit on my team. I've had good friends quit. I've had those same good friends not only quit, but then turn around and talk bad about me in an attempt to destroy me. I still wish them the best. I still pray for them to have success. But my success is not dependent on what they do. I'll go and build a new team. I'll have new people. You will have people that will walk away. And you will attract other people. That's just the nature of the game. And my success is definitely not dictated over what other people do. You have to make the decision for you and where you want to go in the future. And do you believe in what you're doing? If you don't believe in what you're doing, it might be time to move on. I believe in what I'm doing. I believe that I will be making $1 million a month in what I'm doing. I don't care what anybody else has to say. They're not writing me a check. It is going to happen. So this last video that I'm going to play, and then we're going to end for the night because we're now at the top of the hour. Oh, let me go over what John asked for. The power of 2. John, I'm going to give you about a little bit more simpler. Thank you, Daniel, but I want to give you this. If you're in my business, and those of you who say, I need to make a lot of money fast, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme or scam. This is legitimate business. It takes time to grow. This is a marathon, not a sprint. But if you pay attention to what the industry is saying, the industry is a $1 trillion industry that will be $5 trillion in 5 years from now. $5 trillion. If you just have 1/10 of 0.5% of that, this is a multi-billion-dollar business. Everything right now is not perfect. No. We are in transition phase for 2014. The future of our business is in the mobile device that hasn't even launched yet, which is going to happen over the next 5 weeks. We just put a marketing system in place that treats this as a business. Outsource. Invest back in your business where we're going to get sign-ups for you. How about that? That is going to kill it come September. I have a game plan in place. I feel sorry for those who are quitting right now. They are going to feel sick by the end of the year. We treat this like a business. But here is the numbers. And these numbers hold true for any business. But I'm going to talk about our business. Here's the 8-week game plan. We are still in the first week of June. So if you follow this game plan in our company, forget about the company, forget about the videos, forget about the website. Here's just the compensation plan. Because everything else is going to happen. But here is just the compensation plan. If you enroll 2 people your first week in business, just 2, the cost is $249 to get started. Do you think you can find 2 people in the world that has $249 to their name and willing to spend $34.95 a month? If not, move on to somebody who will. I don't have too much patience right now for people who cannot get on this game plan. Because we are moving fast. I sit on top of the entire Japan. How would you like to override an entire country? I don't have time for the skeptical people right now. I only have time for people who want to run with me. So you'd find 2 people with $249. And their first week, your second week in business, they do the same exact thing. They find 2 people their first week in business. The third week, near the end of June now, those people find 2 people. And this continues for 8 weeks. At the end of 8 weeks, at the end of July, you would have made over $6,000 in bonuses, and your residual income will be at $2,450 a month residual income. Now, 8 weeks is going to come anyway. Whether you like it or not, end of July is going to come. How would you like to be in a position to already have an extra $2,400 on top of what you're making? For some of you, you might be able to walk off your job. For others, that at least has extra income to help things out in your household. That's just 8 weeks. Let's say it doesn't happen that fast. Here's where you think like a professional. Most companies, you need 3 to 5 years just to be in profit. Why most people think that they can be in business in 30 days to 60 days and now they have $10,000 a month is beyond me. You go 30 years of your life to get to where you are right now. You join a home-based business and say, if I'm not making $10,000 a month in 60 days, I quit. You have the wrong mindset. This is a marathon, not a sprint. But let's say you're slow and it takes 8 months. So you figure right now we're in June. You got July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. February 2015. You're on the 8-month plan. So it takes you 1 month to get your first 2 in the business. And then the next month, it takes those 2 a whole month to get their first 2 people in the business. So congratulations, after 2 months, you have a grand total of 6 people on your team, and you barely made any money. That's when most people quit. I've been in for 2 months paying money, and I haven't made no money yet. I quit. I'm going to go join another company. I'm going to go wake up. Yeah, you go wake up over there. And realize you got to do the same exact thing over here. Only difference is you sign up 2 people, you don't make no money. You sign up 2 people here, at least you made $100. But I want to prove a point here, not pointing fingers. Let's say you're on the 8-month plan. 2 months into this, you haven't made no serious money. 3 months in, guess what? You still haven't made no serious money. And everybody is only getting 2. There's exponential growth. Would you rather me give you $1 million up front or a penny a day doubled over a year? A penny a day doubled. If you're smart. Exponential growth. So the 4th month in, now those people got 2. Oh, it's starting to grow now. 5th month in, those people got 2. At the end of 8 months, you made $6,000 in bonuses. Now, if you're on a fixed income right now, what would an extra $6,000 over the next 8 months do for you? And an extra $2,450 a month in residual income. You guys repeat that? 8 months is going to come anyway. So whatever it is you're making right now to make a living, and you just did 2 getting 2 for 8 months, what would an extra $2,000 a month help out in your household? Every single month. Yes, the only way to lose in this business is to... That's the only way to lose. Now I'm going to really boggle your mind. Let's say you did that in 8 weeks. Do you know what happens if that just continued 1 more week? The 9th week? You're not at $2,000 a month. You're at $4,000 a month. We are about to blow up big time. People are going to make a lot of money here that put their head down and go to work. Not give up, quit, and go hop on to another company. It takes time if you're willing to put in the time. So I hope that answered, John, your question on 2 getting 2. That's the game plan. I already have a couple of people on that plan right now blowing things up. We have a person that's about to get promoted to global, and they've only been in the business less than 2 months. Things are happening fast. And that goes for any company you're a part of. You realize if you just talk to at least 2 people a day about your business, I don't care what business you're marketing, any business, if you just talk to 2 people a day for a year, at the end of the year you will probably have about 40 personal reps in your business that you personally signed up. So whatever business you're a part of, you know the comp plan. What does your comp plan look like if you have 40 personals in your business after a year? Just exposing it to 2 people a day. That's what this business is about. So I'm getting way off track here. That's for another training. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Tomorrow we have a live presentation stream with Diamond, Chuck Williams, and then we're having a team call for Power Team Marketing, hosted by myself on the 712 number. I'm going to be going over a couple of things, and I always kind of give a recap of what we went over tonight. But I want to give you guys a couple of updates on what's happening in the company. We had a globals call the other day for all the globals. Those of you who are on it, you see the future of what's taking place. We're in exciting times right now. And this is not ground floor. This is mud floor. Less than 5,000. Bye-bye.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Brandon Ivey Show, coming back with you with a new tip of the day. And the tip of the day today is the philosophy of performance. The philosophy of performance. And this is a spin-off of when a lot of people want to talk about having the right mindset and what you're supposed to be doing to become successful. And it all starts with the mind, but it also starts with your core belief system. What is your philosophy? And every single person out there is motivated by a certain philosophy. There's a couple of them out there that most people fall into these four basic categories. And the first one is the philosophy of minimum wage. Think about that. The philosophy of minimum wage. And most Americans actually have this philosophy. It's the philosophy of, I will get paid whatever somebody is willing to pay me. If a company's bottom line is $5 an hour, then guess what? That's how much money I'm going to make, because that's how much money the company pays me. One thing Jim Rohn says all the time is, when he was a young lad and his mentor asked him about making more money, and Jim said, of course I want to make more money, but this is all the company pays me. And his mentor told him, no, that's just all the company pays you. Are there other people in the company that make more money than you? And the answer is yes. But that's your only mentality. That's your only mindset. That's your only philosophy. The philosophy of minimum wage. But then you have people out there that want just a little bit more. But they go about it a certain way, and their way of going about it is having the philosophy of waiting. The philosophy of waiting, where I will wait my turn. My time will come one day. Where if I just continue doing what I'm doing, eventually I'm going to get a raise from $5 an hour to $6 an hour. Maybe when my next yearly review comes around, I get a raise every year of that 2%. Problem is, how long is it going to take you to start to move up the ranks if you're waiting for somebody to give you something? Sadly, there are many people out there that have the philosophy of waiting. Then you have those who are a little bit more aggressive. And they have the philosophy of demand. They demand something. They feel almost entitlement. I demand that you pay me more. And they go about doing it a different way. Their own certain way. And their way is, how about we create a strike force, a union, that if we band together, we can demand the company will pay us more money. Not because we're doing anything extra special, but because we demand for it to happen. We demand the federal government to protect us. We demand to have Social Security, a retirement. We demand to have health care. So you have those individuals. The philosophy of demand. Let me tell you where 99% of rich people operate. It's called the philosophy of performance. The philosophy of production. One thing my grandfather always taught me, and my father, is that if you're going to be a janitor, you be the best janitor you can possibly be. If you're going to be a street sweeper, you be the best street sweeper you possibly could be. Wallace D. Waddell states that success is not in doing certain things, but doing things in a certain way. Everybody is matched with the same 24 hours in a day. Everybody has the same opportunities as everybody else. But what one person does with that time and how they approach that time may be completely different than a different individual, which is why they get certain results. Success is doing things in a certain way, not doing certain things. See, the philosophy of performance basically means no matter what it is that you're doing, work as hard as you possibly can. Become the best you could possibly be. Better yet, what Jim Rohn also says is work harder than what they're actually paying you for. Do more than what you're getting paid for. See, unions don't like that concept. Do more than what I'm getting paid for? You realize most companies that survive, most companies that thrive, they thrive because they provide more in value than they ask for in cost. By doing so, you make yourself more valuable to whoever or whatever it is you're performing for. If you're on a 9-to-5 job and you're putting in more work than you're actually getting paid for, who do you think the company is going to notice? Who becomes more valuable to the company? If you're an athlete and you perform more than what you're being paid for, the next time your contract comes around, guess what's going to happen? You're now more valuable. One thing Jim Rohn also says, and yes, I am a big follower of Jim Rohn, is work on yourself harder than you work on your job. Work on yourself harder than you work on your job. There's only one other philosophy out there that can yield you good results, but ultimately will be your downfall. And it's called the philosophy of fear. The philosophy of fear, and many people have this. And it's not just fear of one thing, but it can be fear of many different things. I used to have a fear of failure. My greatest fears was not being successful. And without knowing it, I unwittingly held myself back. Oh yeah, I had some success, but I could only go so far because I still had fear in my heart. I was being driven by fear. Fear is a choice. It is a choice that you can choose not to have. People have fear of public speaking, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of rejection. How about this one? Fear of poverty. Fear of poverty will always keep you in some form of poverty. I know people who make $10,000 a month and they have fear of poverty, but they have so much potential that if they let that fear go, they will be making 6 figures a month. Because you making $10,000 a month is poverty level to somebody that makes 6 figures a month. I remember my ACN days listening to a training given by Tony Kupas. And Tony Kupas said, I can't believe there's people out there that only make $10,000 a week. I can't imagine living on just $10,000 a week. Now this is all relative, because to most people, $10,000 a week means you're rich. But to somebody like Tony Kupas, $10,000 a week means you're poor. Your fear will always have a limit and a cap on how far you can grow. As a God-fearing man, I fear nobody, I fear no man, I fear no circumstances. I always give it to the Almighty. It's in His hands. Because I have the faith and belief that everything will happen. Because when you have fear of something, you're also afraid to take risks. Because you're more concerned with what you may lose than what you're possibly going to gain. Having the philosophy of fear also allows you to point blame at everybody else instead of ever taking responsibility for your own actions. And I used to do this all the time. It was somebody else's fault. This person didn't do what they were supposed to do. That person didn't do what they said they were going to do. The company let me down. Customer service wasn't good enough. I quit. See, when you have the philosophy of performance, you take matters in your own hands. It doesn't matter what anybody else does. It doesn't matter what your family says. It doesn't matter what society says. It doesn't matter what the economy says. It doesn't matter what the news has to say. It doesn't matter what your best friends and lovers and wives and husbands have to say. It doesn't matter who quits on you. It doesn't matter if a company lets you down. It doesn't matter if things don't go according to plan, because things will never go according to plan. What matters is what you do and how you respond to any issue that happens in your life. That is the most important thing. Because when you have the philosophy of performance, you will become successful in anything that you do. Anything. You take responsibility for things that happen in your life. See, by having the philosophy of welfare, the philosophy of minimum wage, the philosophy of fear, the philosophy of demand, the philosophy of waiting, I am putting my future in the hands of somebody else. And I will never be number one priority for somebody else besides God. So to make myself the priority, philosophy of performance is what guides me. Nobody can take away my work ethic. Nobody can take away my desire. Nobody can take away how hard and how many hours I'm willing to put into something. People ask me, how many hours should I work a week, Brandon, for my business? That's a trick question to me. It's when the job gets done. If that means I need to stay up to 3 a.m., I'm up at 3 a.m. If that means I need to talk to 1,000 people, I'm not going to quit because 5 people said no. I haven't reached 1,000 yet. I will never let my future be in the hands of somebody else. And somebody please slap me if the day ever comes where I blame any failure or setback I have on somebody else. That is all irrelevant. That is all to be expected. That's what's called life. But the one thing you will always have 100% control on is your performance, your production. The most reliable hand is the one at the end of your own wrist. And if you can't rely on yourself, how in the world do you think you're going to be able to rely on somebody else? The philosophy of performance will make you a winner in any field that you ever do, in any endeavor that you ever take on.